Frozen vegetables are already changing. Most shoppers haven't noticed yet. By the time you see it on the shelf, the decision was made months ago. I checked USDA data, BLS reports, corporate earnings, industry filings, retail audits, and supply chain reporting to verify every item on this list. Here's what most consumers don't know. Products don't vanish overnight. First comes compression, then fewer varieties, then spotty availability, then price hikes. Only then does the shelf finally look different, and by then, it's too late to ask why. Companies rarely announce these shifts. You just notice your favorite bag isn't there anymore. These 9 products are already flashing warning signs, least urgent to most urgent. Let's begin. Number 9, frozen vegetables. This is the category most shoppers overlook. Nobody watches the frozen vegetable aisle. That's exactly why it matters. The signals here are subtle. Reduced case volume, same supplier, same product codes, just smaller shipments arriving less often. No announcement, no explanation, just quietly less. One isolated reduction can mean nothing, a supplier hiccup, a seasonal blip. But when the same pattern shows up across multiple categories at once, that's different. That's not noise, that's a trend. Retailers are consolidating shelf space around core items, peas, corn, broccoli, mixed vegetables, while slower-selling blends quietly disappear. This is classic product compression. High-volume items stay. Lower-margin products get cut first. The pressure behind this is compounding. USDA forecasts show elevated production costs compared to pre-2020 levels. Cold storage expenses are up. Transportation and energy costs touch every stage of frozen food distribution. Packaging costs haven't eased either. Add weather disruptions in key growing regions, and harvest consistency takes another hit. A retired couple in Ohio noticed their favorite stir-fry blend vanish from shelves. They assumed it was temporary. 6 months later, it still hadn't come back. Now they stock up whenever they see it. Current price, $2.40 per bag. Projected price, $3.50 per bag. Suggested quantity, 12.18 bags. Storage, deep freezer. Shelf life, 10-12 months. Frozen vegetables feel easy to ignore today. Prices are still low. Shelves still look full enough. But if this compression continues, replacing your favorite varieties later may not be as simple as it is right now. Number 8, breakfast cereal. This one isn't weather, not tariffs, not transportation. This is a corporate decision, plain and simple. Profitability drives this shift. Here's what's called SKU rationalization. Companies cut slow-selling products. They keep the best sellers only. Product lines get discontinued quietly. Declining sales trigger the cuts. Margin pressure forces hard choices. The result? Fewer options over time. Grain costs keep climbing steadily. Sugar prices add more pressure. Transportation expenses never really dropped. Packaging materials cost more too. BLS data confirms this trend. Cereal prices have risen for years. Executives discuss this on earnings calls. Cost management stays the top priority. When margins shrink, variety disappears first. A shopper noticed something small first. Boxes looked slightly different lately. Less cereal inside, same price. That's called shrinkflation, and it's common. She started buying extra boxes, just in case her flavor vanishes. My sister lived this exact scenario. Her favorite cereal lost shelf space. Only 3 flavors remained available. 6 others had disappeared completely. She switched brands out of necessity. No warning, no explanation given. Current price, $4.70. Projected price, $6.90. Suggested quantity, 8-12 boxes. Storage, cool, dry pantry. Shelf life, 8-12 months. Categories don't vanish overnight, remember. They shrink quietly, one SKU at a time. Fewer flavors, smaller sections, less choice. By the time you notice, it's already gone. Number 7, canned soup. People assume canned soup is permanent, reliable, affordable, always on the shelf. It feels like it'll never change, but it's already changing. Here's the hidden shift. Premium soups stay. Cheap soups stay too. The middle tier disappears first. That's category hollowing. It happens quietly, brand by brand. Count the varieties next time. Count the specialty flavors. Count the seasonal options. That's where the signal shows up. Manufacturers are prioritizing core inventory now. Consumer substitution is driving this shift. Shoppers trade premium brands for cheaper ones. Companies respond by narrowing selections. Fewer flavors, fewer sizes, fewer surprises on the shelf. Steel can costs remain elevated. Transportation expenses keep affecting distribution. Labor costs sit well above historical averages. Industry publications confirm the pressure. Packaged food margins keep tightening. Something has to give eventually. A friend of mine noticed this firsthand. Her favorite soup vanished for months. Not discontinued, just gone, unreliable. When it finally returned, she bought 4 cases. She said she doesn't trust availability anymore. That's the real signal here. Not empty shelves, just inconsistency. Products that show up, then disappear, then reappear without warning. Current price, $2.40. Projected price, $3.50. Suggested quantity, 18-24 cans. Storage, pantry shelf life, 24-36 months. Buy extra when you see it. Don't assume it'll be there next month. The middle tier is thinning out, quietly, can by can. Number 6, peanut butter. You're measuring the wrong thing here. Most people count brands on the shelf. That's not where the signal is. Count options instead. Count varieties. Count flavors. Count the bag choices. That's where compression hides. Here's the trick retailers use. When products get removed, they fill the space with what remains. The shelf still looks full, but the selection is actually smaller. It's an optical illusion, and it works. Peanut production has faced real weather challenges. USDA agricultural reports document shifting yields year to year. Packaging costs remain elevated across the board. Suppliers now favor their top-selling products. Fill rates matter more than variety. Retailers want reliable inventory, not niche options. Lower volume products become the first casualty. Commodity volatility rarely shows up immediately. Price increases often lag by months. So by the time you notice, the decision was already made. A parent I know lives this daily. Her kids only eat one specific brand. That brand became inconsistent on shelves. Some weeks it's there, some weeks it's gone. She's not panicking, she's adapting. Now she buys 2 jars every trip just to stay ahead of it. Current price, $3.60. Projected price, $5.80. Suggested quantity, 10-15 15 jars. Storage, cool, dark, pantry. Shelf life, 12, 18 months. Practical advice. Don't wait for your brand to disappear before adapting. Buy an extra jar now while it's still easy. Consistency today doesn't guarantee consistency next season. If this is helping you see what's happening, a like helps more people find it. Number 5. Coffee shoppers assume coffee is untouchable. It's a daily habit. Surely it's stable. But look closer, and the cracks are already showing. This isn't about disappearance. It's about volume reduction. Smaller incoming shipments, fewer pallets on the truck. A consistent, quiet decline that most people never track. Coffee is increasingly vulnerable to weather. Droughts hit major growing regions. Heat stress damages crops. Disease spreads through plantations. Add transportation challenges on top, and the supply chain strains further. Commodity markets confirm this. Coffee prices have shown real volatility in recent years, with significant increases showing up on trading data. Executives address this directly on investor calls. Supply concerns in major producing countries keep coming up. Tariff pressures add another layer. Companies respond the way they usually do: shrinkflation. Smaller packages, fewer promotions, higher shelf prices, even when the bag size shrinks. Consumers adjust without realizing it. People who once bought premium beans move toward mainstream brands. It's not a conscious sacrifice. It's a quiet behavioral shift, one purchase at a time. Sarah, a woman I spoke with, described this shift herself. She used to buy coffee only when she ran out. Now she watches sales closely. When prices dip, she stocks up for months. She doesn't call it panic. She calls it preparedness. Current price, $8,115. Projected price, $12,118. Suggested quantity, 6,100 containers. Storage, cool, dry storage. Shelf life, 12, 24 months unopened. Shortages rarely start with empty shelves. They start with quiet adaptation, smaller shipments, changed habits, and shoppers adjusting long before they notice they've changed at all. Number 4, eggs. Most people think they already understand the egg story. High prices, bird flu, old news, right? But here's what most shoppers miss. Expensive and scarce are two very different problems, and both are happening at once right now. High prices get all the headlines. Reduced ordering is the quieter, more serious issue. That's the part nobody talks about. Egg production is extremely sensitive. Disease outbreaks can wipe out flocks fast. Feed costs stay elevated. Energy expenses hit every stage of production. Transportation costs add another layer. USDA reports have documented real volatility in egg prices over recent years, and consumers have learned firsthand how quickly availability can shift. Shelves can go from fully stocked to nearly bare within days. Two forces are working simultaneously here. Supply is tightening in certain production regions. Prices are climbing at the same time. Climate issues affect specific growing and farming regions. Shipping disruptions slow distribution. Import challenges add further strain in some markets. Supplier behavior is shifting quietly too. Smaller shipments, lower order quantities placed with distributors. The result? Consumers pay more and receive less consistency in return. That combination, Higher cost, lower reliability is the real warning sign. A retired couple in Arizona described their own quiet adjustment. They now keep powdered eggs in their pantry. They never imagined doing that. But after watching repeated price swings, they wanted a backup plan they could trust. Other households are doing something similar, just less visibly. Buying an extra dozen. Rotating stock instead of buying only when needed. Not panic, just quiet adaptation. Current price, $3.60 per dozen. Projected price, $5.80 per dozen. Suggested quantity, rotate weekly purchases. Storage, refrigeration. Shelf life, 3.5 weeks fresh. Alternative shelf life, powdered eggs, 5-10 years. Preparation rarely looks dramatic. Most of the time, it looks exactly like smart shopping. Buying a little extra, rotating stock, and paying attention before the shelf tells you there's a problem. Number 3, cheese. I checked these numbers multiple times because they seemed surprising. Cheese? A preparedness category? It sounds unlikely at first. But dairy markets are shifting in ways worth paying attention to. Here's the pattern showing up first. Premium segments thin out before anything else. Mass market cheddar and mozzarella survive just fine. But specialty cheeses, imported varieties, artisanal blocks, those are quietly disappearing from shelves. Higher quality options are the first casualty every time. Count the options next time you're in the dairy aisle. Count the specialty cheeses. Count the imported varieties. That's where the real signal shows up, not in the price tag. Milk production trends have slowed in several regions. Feed prices remain elevated, squeezing dairy farmers directly. Labor shortages continue affecting processing facilities, slowing output further. Energy costs touch refrigeration, transportation, and storage all at once. USDA dairy reports have documented periods of tightening supply alongside rising production costs, confirming this isn't just anecdotal. Global pressures compound this further. Commodity increases, climate challenges affecting dairy regions abroad, export restrictions in some producing countries limit what reaches import markets. Industry reports keep flagging the same trend. Manufacturers increasingly favor products with stronger margins, and specialty cheese doesn't always make that list. A friend who bakes regularly noticed this firsthand. Her go-to imported cheese became unreliable, showing up some months and not others. She asked her local cheesemonger why. The answer was familiar. Previous shortages followed this exact pattern: premium first, mainstream later, if at all. A coworker of mine responded differently. She started freezing blocks of cheddar, which initially sounded excessive. Then she calculated how much prices had climbed over 3 years. Now she keeps 6 blocks stored at all times, without exception. Current price, $4.80. Projected price, $6.10. Suggested quantity, 6,10 blocks. Storage, refrigerate or freeze. Shelf life, 6,1, 2 months. Frozen. If you have a favorite cheese, buy extra now. Freeze what you can. The premium options are the ones you'll miss first, and the ones least likely to come back quickly. Number 2, ground beef. At first glance, this category looks completely stable. Ground beef is everywhere. Every store carries it. Every shopper buys it. That's exactly why the compression here is so easy to miss. Large categories compress invisibly. The shelf still looks full. Specific cuts and blends quietly disappear. No signs, no warnings, no announcements posted anywhere. The pattern follows a predictable order. Specialty products go first. Mid-tier options follow. Mainstream products get squeezed last, but they get squeezed eventually. Cattle inventories remain historically tight right now. Herd rebuilding isn't a quick fix. It takes years, not months. Feed costs matter throughout that process. Drought conditions matter. Weather patterns matter. Trade conditions add further pressure. USDA cattle data has documented declining herd sizes over recent years, and analysts continue warning that rebuilding supply is a genuinely slow process. This creates structural pressure that doesn't go away easily. Even if consumer demand softens, supply constraints remain in place regardless. That's the difference between a temporary spike and a lasting shift. A budget-conscious shopper I know experiences this constantly. She switches brands often, chasing the best value each week. But her preferred options keep disappearing, one after another. She's not imagining it. This is compression, playing out in real time, invisible until you're the one standing in the aisle, looking for something that used to be there. A friend of mine noticed it differently. He compared grocery receipts from 4 years ago and was stunned by how much prices had climbed. He bought a vacuum sealer that same week. Now he buys in bulk whenever there's a real promotion and stores it properly for the long term. Current price, $5.80 per pound. Projected price, $7.10 per pound. Suggested quantity, 15.25 pounds. Storage, freezer, vacuum sealed for best results. Shelf life, 8-12 months. Compression stays invisible until it happens to you directly, until your usual cut, your usual blend, your usual price point simply isn't there anymore. By then, the decision was already made months earlier. Number 1, cooking oils. This is it, the most urgent signal on this list. Every product before this one was specific, a flavor, a brand, a cut of meat. Cooking oil is different. It's not a specialty category. It's in almost every household, in almost every meal. That's exactly why it matters more than everything else on this list combined. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Declining fill rates. Consistent, quiet supply reduction. Not a single shortage event, but a structural shift building over years. Government inventory reports confirm this across multiple edible oil categories. Multi-year trends show tightening supply. Import issues in key markets compound the pressure further. Cooking oil depends entirely on global agriculture. Soybeans, sunflowers, canola, palm oil. Every one of these crops is vulnerable to the same forces. International trade restrictions matter. Weather events matter. Shipping disruptions matter. Export policies matter. When one major producing region hits trouble, the ripple effect spreads worldwide almost immediately. Commodity reports continue showing real volatility across edible oil markets, and consumers feel it fast because oil touches nearly everything on the plate. Recovery here cannot happen quickly. This isn't like restocking a shelf. Agricultural production runs on multi-year cycles. Planting decisions made this season don't show results for years. Supply rebuilding takes real time, and there's no shortcut around that timeline. That's what makes this category structural rather than temporary. Linda, a retired woman, watched her preferred oil double in price over several years. She started tracking sales closely. Whenever prices dropped, she bought several bottles at once, not out of panic, out of pattern recognition. Other shoppers are adjusting too, often without realizing it. Someone who never once checked prices now compares cost per meal automatically. That quiet shift in behavior, comparing, calculating, buying extra just in case, is happening in kitchens everywhere right now. Current price, $4.10. Projected price, $7.13. Suggested quantity, 12 bottles. Storage, cool, dark location. Shelf life, 24 months unopened. This isn't a temporary spike, it's a structural shift, years in the making, and it touches every household that cooks a single meal at home.
Let's be fair here. Some of this may improve. Some pressures may ease. Some markets may stabilize. Agricultural production can recover. Transportation costs can decline. Trade conditions can shift. Nothing on this list is permanent or guaranteed. But here's what's already documented, right now, today. Every single item on this list costs more than it did a few years ago, not because of one cause, because of many, all stacked together. Weather, labor, energy, packaging, transportation, commodity volatility, consumer demand shifting in response to all of it. Different products, different reasons, same direction. And that's the point of this video. Not panic, not fear, not sensational headlines designed to scare you into buying something. This is about practical preparation, built one small step at a time. So here's a simple plan, spread across a month, that won't strain your budget. Week 1. Start with shelf-stable basics. Canned soup, peanut butter. Budget, $30 to $50. Week 2. Add breakfast cereal and cooking oils while you can still find variety. Budget, $35 to $60. Week 3. Build up your frozen food reserves and cheese inventory. Budget, $40 to $70. Month 1. Focus on coffee, eggs, and ground beef, buying in bulk whenever sales hit. Budget, $75 to $150. Notice what this plan isn't. It isn't one big panic buy trip. It's small, consistent purchases, spread out, timed around sales. That approach almost always beats a single large purchase made out of fear. Here's the real takeaway from everything we just covered. The data is usually ahead of the shelf. Production numbers, cost reports, supplier decisions, they all show up months before you ever notice a gap in the aisle. Now you know what that data has been saying. So tell me, which item on this list concerns you most? Drop it in the comments. I read every one.